Everybody, Andy here again. Well, this is one of those sort of turn on the camera and start talking videos. Not really planned, but obviously something that I've thought about. And it goes with things that I've been thinking about recently. I put a tweet up today. This is Tuesday evening. I have no idea when this will get shown, this particular video. They can sit here for days, weeks sometimes before they get public viewing. That I've been doing lots of thinking about different topics recently, but one topic in particular, and something that I've been thinking about for a long time, all to do with sort of social media and social networking and all that type of thing. Reading up about it, obviously I'm involved with it, I'm interested in it because of being here, and I've spoken quite a lot about it, I suppose, in the future, in the past, and I've recently done a video called Blurry about the way that those sort of two worlds are colliding, your real life and the internet life, or your online life, should we say, and all the different sites that we use and how they influence us, etc. And I think about these things quite a lot anyway, but recently I've had these sort of ideas, even ideas that I've discussed with a couple of people at work actually, about how you could use sort of social media on a smaller scale, even within your workplace, even within your business, if the people were open-minded enough and forward-thinking enough that they could actually embrace it, etc., and we could use it for the common good of the workforce and the business as well, maybe as well, get a happier workforce and stuff. But I'm not going to go into that. And I actually spent a couple of hours the other day jotting some of these things down. But last night I was laying in bed, woke up after about 2 or 3 hours sleep, about 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and you know what it's like when you wake up and your mind's going, it's wired, you know, it's racing 19 to the dozen, there's all these thoughts going through your head, and you're wide awake, and you're just laying there, yeah, you turn over and you try and go back to sleep, but you can't. I even thought about getting up as well, and I'm sure we've all been there at some time. Sometimes it can be a worry thing, because it might be work, it might be a stressful thing or something like this. Nothing to do with that at all, but it's just maybe the way my mind works. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are the same as well, that something comes in, and I was formulating these arguments and these thoughts almost like a presentation type of thing, how I would sell this to people, do you know what I mean, and how you could tailor it to different audiences and things. Quite involved, as you can probably tell. And since then I've been thinking, right, how on earth do I articulate this, or how on earth did I put this down? And I need to sort of sit down and write some of these things, or do one of those videos, like one of those personal ones where you actually just try and put it out there and let your thoughts go out, rather than divulge everything I'm thinking about here and boring the pants off of you for 20-30 minutes or something like that. But it also brings into that about sort of passion, really, because how do you convey passion? Sometimes it's not easy, is it? And it depends on what you're like. Some people can convey passion by writing, you know, brilliant authors, but you have to be pretty good at that. And something I said before, it's easier to talk, but not everybody can really articulate that as well. And even what I was thinking last night, I find it very hard to go on and on about. As I said, I could probably sit here for 40-50 minutes and my mind would be going off in different directions, as it was last night, and you have those ideas and they disappear, and you need to sort of grab them, grasp them, and they keep you awake at night, ideas. Maybe it's one of those things that because I think about things, I've been reading quite a lot about sort of social media, social networking. As I said, got an interest obviously because of the sites that I use and doing this anyway. Maybe that gets you more and more involved. But I can see, I've often said that I think it's the future. I watched a great video earlier on, something to do with a conference in the Far East, actually talking about, is social media a fad, and then using some great statistics about how it is penetrating our lives, or the life of the world, should we say. We know it's here, but we are still pretty much early adopters with this whole sort of wide world, you know, the sort of social networking, social media type thing. But it's getting more and more people that are getting involved, especially in what we might class as the sort of developing world. Places like China, there are millions and millions of people getting online literally day by day, and with the rise of mobile sort of telecommunications as well, that's the big thing now. Yes, we've been running around with mobile phones or cell phones, whatever you want to call them, in sort of Europe and the developed world, for want of a better expression, for some time now. Even back in the 80s, we would carry, or some people were carrying big brick-like mobile phones around with enormous aerials. When you look now, they look absolutely ridiculous, and you see old TV programs. I was talking to someone about this the other day, and you go back and you look at some of those old TV programs, and they still look good, apart from some of those technological things. They're the things, apart from the dress and maybe the hairstyles, that really dates these things. Comedy is timeless, but technology isn't. And sometimes that can really show things out there. Some are a bit more visionary than others. But we've had that for a while. Other people are catching up, and for some countries, especially places like Africa, that's the way that they're getting on board, and they're embracing this exactly the same as we did. Why shouldn't they? You know, it's their way into a completely different way of life. So that's the growth area, and we are doing that here, aren't we? I can't think of many sort of African people that I converse with. It is generally other places, but that's going to be a growth market. I'm not a businessman, but I can see the potential for sort of businesses. Some of the things that I've been writing down, love to get involved with that. And if anybody knows of any courses, that was online courses you can do in sort of social media, that would be brilliant. I'd love to get involved with that. But I wonder whether they don't exist yet. That hasn't come about yet because it is so new. Yes, it's getting more and more popular, etc. A lot of people are getting into it for the business purpose. We can see that if you know, through spam emails, if you're on Twitter or something, you get all those people that follow you. You put a particular tweet up about a service. I did it the other week about waiting for some furniture to arrive at home, and suddenly furniture stores or furniture makers started following me on Twitter. I put something up the other day, a particular word about drink or something, and suddenly people involved with drink started following. And you've probably seen that as well if you use Twitter. People have seen the business side of it, but as with all of these things, as with so many business ventures, it's a bandwagon jumping thing, isn't it? People get involved because they think it's the thing to do. They haven't maybe got the passion in it, they haven't got the understanding, they don't get it, shall we say. They just see that we can make a quick buck out of this. Yes, some of them will make some money and disappear. Most of us can see through those people. Maybe the people who are less experienced don't see through that, and maybe that works with all that. We get the spam emails, don't we? And you often think, you know, you have them directed into your junk folder or your spam filter or whatever gets rid of some of them, but they still get through. And you think some people must click on these lottery winning emails, or those ones from Nigeria about please help this person, or, you know, even some of the sort of phishing scams that you get, some of which are very good. I'm sure people get caught out quite innocently, but then you think, who on earth would answer some of those ones about lottery wins? You think, well, I've never bought a ticket, and how could I have won $5 million or something? I'd love to, but how could I have won $5 million? And who on earth would be stupid enough to click on one of those links? Now, obviously, people must do that because they wouldn't keep sending these emails out, would they? So there are the gullible people out there who will be caught. I like to think that I'm not in that. Who knows? I've very nearly been caught before with some very, very elaborate schemes, and if we hadn't have known a bit more about what I was doing, I probably would have got caught. So I'm maybe not quite so well versed in social media, shall we say, or the internet. Might well have got caught out, and you can understand why that happens. So, you know, other people have got a lot of catching up, but I'd love to get involved with this in more way, maybe in a different role. I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm just thinking out loud now. This is one of those, as I said, those sort of things that I've been thinking about. The potential of it, I think, for people who believe in it, for people who understand it a bit more and are going at it for the right reasons. That's one of the things. It's with that passion thing, as I spoke about earlier on, is that if you know any passion that you have and other people don't quite understand or don't see it in the same way, it's very hard for you to convey it, as I said, to anybody else. I'm sure quite a few of you people out there can understand exactly what I'm talking about here. Maybe you feel that sort of passion to varying degrees. Maybe you don't see the way that I do. That's what we're all like. Maybe I can see things slightly differently to you because I've thought about it in a different way, or my mind works in a different way to other people's. Maybe some people don't care. This is just something that they use because it's a bit of fun. Yes, I do that as well, but I can see a bit more of that in it, and I've mentioned that in several videos in the past about how sort of revolutionary this is, or certainly how it could be if we used it in lots of different ways. This whole getting together, the collaboration side of this, just think how powerful that collaboration could be. We're conversing, we're interacting with people right across the world, all those different age groups and sexes and races and all that I've spoken about before. If you did fully collaborate, you just think what you could do here. Yeah, that's pie in the sky dreaming, but I'm sure there's a lot of people, businesses out there. You think now you start knocking down, that's one of the points of that video that I was referred to earlier, the word of mouth thing that comes down. Not many people actually believe or understand advertising. They don't trust advertising. But when some of your friends on the internet, whether it be through Twitter or Facebook or whatever it might be, especially the more text-based ones, talk about a particular product and say, oh yeah, I got this album today, or I bought this particular application or something, or other, a book or whatever it might be, went to see this movie, you rate it, or you knock it to no, don't bother going and see that, and people don't. There's so much power there that you've got at your fingertips, that sort of peer thing. We believe our peers far more than we will ever believe people that write in advertising slogans or even in newspapers, and think people that you know, people that you can maybe trust, I suppose. You take their word of mouth, like your friends in the real world, shall we say. They go and say, you know what they understand, and if they say a film's good or an album's good, you think, all right, I might check that out. But if they knock it down, you think, no, they've got pretty good judgment, I don't like that. So that's a very powerful tool as well, and I'm sure there's a lot of businesses, that's why they want to get involved in this. They want to try and maybe trick us into different things, and that's why they're picking up on all these topics and following you, hoping to get little insights into what you know. You know, the early adopters are very important with this. So anyway, I'm talking at length and rambling about this because this is one of those turn on the video, as I said, turn on the camera and talk. So where do we go from here? I don't know. I should do more thinking about this. I've got a couple of articles I want to read. I've discovered a couple of great new websites about this type of thing as well, and realising that there are people out there thinking along the same sort of lines about this and writing books about it, which I didn't know existed. And the same with anything, you do a bit of research, but it's still that whole understanding of the idea and the potential of the social media, social networking side. It's still in its early days, so maybe we could get involved in it in a different way. So anybody wants to offer me a job, let me know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there and stop waffling on. So there you go. Thanks for your time. I shall speak to you again soon. Goodbye.